Hey folks, it's Lev. I use he and pronouns. So today I wanted to make a little video talking about fear and how I've overcome fear. So for a long time, fear consumed my life from inside out. I had really bad anxiety and I had really bad depression, but anxiety was where the fear lay, and like I was scared of everything and everyone. So I had really bad social anxiety and I could not even say hi to someone without ruminating about the million things that could possibly go wrong as a result of me saying hi to this person. I also remember just staring at the ground a lot and not really looking up whenever I walked anywhere because I wanted to avoid eye contact because that could lead to social interaction and that scared me to death, and so I didn't really do it. But what years of therapy and just persevering through it taught me is that fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing depending on how I see it and depending on how I use it. So I used to run away from things that caused me fear, and that definitely reinforced my anxiety because I see something I'm scared of, I run away from it, and then it just reinforces my response to run every time I see this fear-inducing stimuli or situation. But what I've realized now, after breaking out of the vicious cycle of what ifs and everything that could possibly go wrong, is that fear is a very useful tool for me because right now, if I experience fear, it's telling me that this is something you need to do. This is something you have to face. This is something you can't run from anymore. Either way, you will have to deal with it sooner or later. And fear also tells me that, okay, this thing that you're fearful of, it is an opportunity for you to grow if you take it and learn from it. I've also found that whenever I do the thing I'm scared of or like face the thing that I'm scared of, it usually doesn't end as badly as my imagination told me it would be. So when I had serious anxiety, my imagination went wild with every possible thing that could go wrong, and I tried to prepare for every possible outcome, and the lack of preparedness and the lack of having a plan and answers for what to do if X thing happened scared me a lot. If it's something I wanted my younger self to know, is that you cannot possibly plan for every possible thing that could possibly happen. There's just too many variables, there's too many possible outcomes. You can't plan for everything. And it's okay to like go into a situation and not have all the answers for it, because we're human, we cannot possibly know everything, and it's okay to learn and it's okay to make mistakes and learn from it. That's Mistakes are not a bad thing. Mistakes are a great teacher for me. Funny, actually, like now in present day, having gone through everything I've gone through, I am more scared of the things my imagination and mind can come up with and like haunt me about, rather than the consequences of things that actually happen as the result of actions I take. I now use fear as like a sort of like a motivator or fuel to better myself as a person. So if I'm scared of something, I want to overcome it. I want to confront it, overcome it, and not let it be something I'm scared of anymore. So I use fear to help me like fight harder against like the thing I'm scared of, and use it as fuel for me to take action to overcome it. Building on that, I've now rewired my brain to take an action-oriented approach to situations in life. Like if what I mean by this is, if something comes up, I take action and then deal with whatever possibly comes up as a result of me taking action. Yeah, just dealing with it when it comes up, if it comes up, rather than be presented with a situation, then sit here and try to plan for every possible thing that could go wrong and ruminate about it. Not really. I learned how to get out of my own head, because again, it was my own head, that was making fear such like a bad thing rather than the situation and objective reality itself. The power of psychology is very real, and it can make or break me. So I'll give like a personal example now, like a proper one. So as if you're new to my channel or have never seen me before, hi, I'm Lev. I'm a trans guy. I've been living as a man since February 2020. Yeah, my trans journey has been wild, but I'll talk about that in a separate video. So when I came to realize that I'm trans, and I had and start slowly accepting it, I was petrified of people finding out, because I didn't like myself. I saw myself as a freak. I didn't think I was normal because of the cis normative world we live in. Like when I was like, the only thing that's been ingrained to me from a very young age is that being cis is normal and being anything other than cis is not normal. And uh yeah, because I didn't see any representation of it. I didn't even know that trans people existed when I was younger. Like, I didn't even know the whole community existed. I just thought cis people existed in the world, that's it. And so basically when I came to realize that I am different and I am not cisgender, it scared the shit out of me. And so yes, when I first came to come out, when I first came out to myself as trans, and a few of my friends, I didn't want anyone to know, because I was scared of being judged, being rejected, scared of being seen as some sort of freak, be treated as an outcast, be discriminated against, like the whole package. What did I do? I lived in fear. I didn't want to like behave or say anything that would give any indication that I'm trans. I was very closeted. I didn't want people I told telling anyone. Like, I wanted to keep this a very big secret from everyone, because I was so ashamed of this part of myself and didn't think it was okay to be me. And I hated myself so much, and that's why I didn't think anyone would like me, because if I didn't like me for like being myself, how is anyone else gonna like me for being me? For me being me. I was also scared of changing my pronouns to he, him, because that would indicate that might possibly give away that I am trans and not cisgender, because I've been using she, her for my whole life until that point. And then if I start changing pronouns, people are gonna get suspicious, and that scared me even more. So for people who didn't know that I was trans, I just basically let people misgender me, because I was scared of being out, and I saw that being misgendered was less bad than being out as trans. But it was not a pleasant experience. I did not enjoy being misgendered, and having to live a lie basically, because I was so scared. It wasn't until I started gender therapy. So I went to see a gender therapist, and I started confronting this internalized transphobia, confronting it head on rather than running from it. And then that was when I started changing the way I saw transphobia, the way I saw myself, the way I saw being trans in general for myself. The weird thing is, like, I only believe this for myself and not for other trans people. So if someone asked me if this trans person over here is a freak and abnormal and invalid and whatnot, I would be like, no, they're perfectly valid as trans. It's okay to be trans. There's nothing wrong with being trans. But if I ask myself the same question, I'll be like, no, you're a freak. You're disgusting. Why are you even trans? It's a very interesting but weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's some psychological phenomena. I don't know what it's called. Basically, through gender therapy, I had to unlearn everything that has been ingrained to me since a young age, living in a cis-normative world. Like, I had to unlearn that only cis people exist. I unlearned that, you know, trans people are not freaks and abnormal and there's disgrace to the human race, and all of this internalized transphobia that's not talked about very often but does a lot of damage to trans and gender diverse folks or people who are questioning their gender identity. I had to unlearn all that and then wire in my mind that it's okay to be trans, there's nothing wrong with being trans, you're not abnormal, it's okay to be you, the behavior of others does not dictate the validity of your identity, you're valid just as you are. I had to ingrain all of that into my head and replace all I had to make that the automatic thought process I had and not the internalized transphobia stuff like you're a freak, etc, etc, etc. And yet to do that, I had to face internalized transphobia head on and not run from it. But then as I started unlearning internalized transphobia and, growing more self-confident in my own identity, it's, as I grew more self-confident and grew to be like proud to be living in my own skin, like now I can confidently say I'm trans and I'm proud to be trans, I'm okay to be living in my own skin, like I don't care what people think. If you told me to say that in like February last year, that would never have happened. I couldn't even say I'm trans to myself confidently, let alone record it and put it on the internet. Anyways, as I progressed to gender therapy, internalized transphobia started having less power over me and I had power over it. It right like now at this present right now at this point in my journey, internalized transphobia does not mess with me anymore. I've completely overcome it and it has no power. I have power. It no longer has power, and that's a very satisfying feeling, knowing that I've overcome internalized transphobia by facing it head on directly and not run from it, because again it was something I was very scared of. I don't care if people know I'm trans. Like, the more I get out there and come out and stuff, the more representation there is for the trans and gender diverse community, especially people of color or culturally and linguistically diverse humans. So it's a win-win for like a win-win. I don't see any loss in that. I think the main point from my example is that to overcome fear, I had to confront it and not run from it. It is not easy. I'm not saying it's an easy journey, but it's definitely been a very necessary one for me. And it's allowed me to grow so much and become so much more confident. And this confidence in myself and liking myself has like translated to other domains of my life. Like, I'm more open to new experiences in general, and I'm more confident interacting with people. I'm confident in like talking in general. Like, it's incredible how building just being confident in my own identity can lead to like positive changes in other aspects of my life. It's absolutely incredible. Sort of off topic, but sort of relevant. I no longer fear rejection because I'm so confident. I'm very confident in myself. Like, if people don't like me for who I am, then that's fine. Like, it's not. That means like it's better if they're not in my life because they don't support me, and I don't see a problem with that. And I was doing a mind map a few days ago about fear. Was it fear? Let me think. I think it was about fear and how far I've come in my life. And then I asked myself, what do you lose exactly if you're rejected by people who don't like you or people who don't accept you for who you are? And then I was thinking, people that aren't people that are unlikely to be good for me in my life. I don't see that as a loss at all. Like, not having toxic people or people who are unsupportive of my truth in my life is a good thing. I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, that's not a bad thing. And it's like this shift in perspective that's really helped, because now that I've changed the way I think about this, I don't experience fear about it happening, because it's not a bad thing for me. I hope that made sense. I hope that sharing my story helps at least one person out there. If it does, then I'm a happy guy. Uh, just take it slow. If it's something I could say to my younger self, would be take it slow. Um, Go at your own pace and just keep going, because overcoming fear is not an overnight thing. Like, it's been a yearly, like, it's taken me a few years, many years to reach this point in my journey and to have this much self-confidence. So go at your own pace. Seek support from those around you, like could be friends, family, or professional help. Like, there is no shame in seeing a therapist for really any difficulty that you're going through in your life. There's no shame in seeking support. Vulnerability is a sign of great strength and courage. It's not a sign of like weakness, as mental health stigma implies it is. That's complete garbage. It's not. Being vulnerable is a very like courageous thing to do. And yes, it's okay to seek mental health support from a professional. It does not mean you're less than human. We all need support in our lives at some point or another. We can't go through everything alone. And yeah, it's okay. It is okay. I'm telling you, it's okay to seek mental health support. Professional mental health support. There is nothing wrong with it. Um, yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. And I'll see you on the next one.